Golazos.
What is going on, guys? Rogue TCG here, bringing the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG deck profile. You all voted for it, and here I am bringing it to you. Here I bring to you Dragonlink, Thunder Dragon, Bystial Pile. I don't really know what to call this other than Dragonlink. This is a brew that I have derived a lot of inspiration from when I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In a competitive manner around 2019. I first started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Like seriously and competitively around 2019, playing Orcust Cyber Dragon, but this was also a very competitive deck in that meta. Has a lot of very new tools now, comparative to what it had before, but now that Colossus is back, this deck is actually still able to do its thing, and its thing is still thangin'. So I'm gonna go down the card by card, let you know what I think this deck should be able to do, and show you a test game or two. Starting off with our hand traps, we're on 1 Psyframe Gear Gamma, triple Psyframe Gear Delta, and 1 Psyframe Driver. We're on 60 cards, so the likelihood that we'll see one of these Psyframes instead of the Driver is quite high. These are just very, very powerful cards going first, and then these are also light hand traps in order to play very well with the Bystials, especially playing very well with Bystial Baldric in specific. Speaking of Bystials, we are on 1 Magnamussi, 1 Baldric, 1 Saronir, and double Druis Worms, and then an additional Magnum target of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme as our last hand trap. I mean, technically we do have 5 more, but they're not really hand traps. And then we're on 1 Bystial Lubellion in order to tutor any of our Bystials and to find our branded beast, which is just a pop by tributing a dragon. Great stuff. For Thunder Dragons, these guys aren't dragons, however they are dark and lights that benefit off of being banished, which a bunch of the chaos related dragons do. So we are on triple Thunder Dragon Dark. Quick effect, we can pitch it to add a Thunder Dragon Dark from deck to hand. So technically it is something we can activate on our opponent's turn, but it's not really a hand trap. And then if we didn't activate the other effect, if it's sent to the graveyard from field or it is banished, we are able to activate the effect, or we get to add a Thunder Dragon card from deck to hand other than itself. Really great effect. We are playing 3 of it. We are on triple Thunder Dragon Roar. If this one's sent to graveyard or banished, we are able to special summon a Thunder Dragon except for itself from deck. And then we can activate the hand effect to pitch it in order to add a Thunder Dragon card that's banished or in a graveyard back to our hand. We don't really want to be adding stuff back to our hand super frequently. However, the ability for this card to do that is pretty alright, and it will get used once every 5 or 6 games or so. We're on triple Thunder Dragon. This is just to deck thin and get hand advantage, because we do like discarding a lot of cards, namely with Dragon Ravine, Chaos Space, etc., etc. So we do want to be able to have those additional cards in order to discard, as well as it's a hand trigger in order to make sure we get our Colossus online. And then this one's more of a hand trap than Dark is, but still not that much of a hand trap. Quick effect, we can pitch it, target a Thunder monster we control, against 500 attack. And if this card leaves the field, from deck to field or graveyard to banish, or just banish in general, we get to add another Thunder Dragon Matrix from deck to hand. And then our last Thunder Dragon monster is 1 Thunder Dragon Hawk. We can pitch it from hand to special summon a Thunder Dragon that's banished or in our graveyard, or if this card gets banished or sent from field to graveyard, we can basically do like a little magical mallet-esque effect. We don't really want to be doing the mallet effect as much, however this card is a 1-card Colossus as long as we have a Thunder Dragon in graveyard or in banishment, or a Thunder Dragon monster in general. So we are just playing this 1 copy in order to tutor off of Thunder Dragon Dark, because it's not very good otherwise. And then we are on 1 Thunder Dragon Fusion. We are playing enough Thunder Dragons in order to make Titans, so I am just running it because I'm a very greedy boy. However, it's likely not really worth it to run Fusion and Titan just for the extra slot in the extra deck. We're on triple Allure of Darkness. This helps a lot with the Thunder Dragon portion of the deck, both drawing us more of the Dragonlinks and also allowing us to banish the Thunder Dragons out of our hand, as kind of like the cost of Allure of Darkness is just very, very strong, especially in this deck where a lot of our cards have something to do in graveyard or banishment, and we want to be seeing as many of the different types of card as possible. Now for our Rockets. For our Rockets, we are on 2 Rocket Tracer, 1 Rocket Recharger as our Tracer target, and we are able to play only 1 Tracer target because we are on 60 cards. The likelihood that we draw the Recharger is very low. And if we do draw, it isn't the worst thing in the world. We're on one Absorouter Dragon. This is how we are able to go into our rocket combo, even if we don't have any rockets in our opener or any quick launches, because we can send it to graveyard off Dragon Ravine, and Absorouter says if it's sent to the graveyard, we are able to add a rocket from deck to hand. So really great tutoring effect there. Run double of our honorary rockets, 2 Dark End Evaporation Dragon. We can banish 1 level 8 monster from our extra deck to special summon this from our hand. We can't special the rest of the turn except for dragons, so this does have to be kind of like the last thing that we do, since, or at least after our Thunder Dragon portion, because again, the Thunder Dragons are all thunders, not necessarily dragons. And this card is basically a poly on legs, and also can just pop a card and make itself lose 500 attack. The main thing is this is a poly on legs, which allows us to make a Borreload Furious Dragon, because it itself is a dark dragon, so it just means we need one other monster in order to fulfill the requirements on Furious. So we are on 2 of that. We're on 1 Boot Sector Launch as the searchable card off of Striker Dragon, triple Quick Launch in order to get either our Tracer or our Recharger, and that's the end of our Rocket engine. We're on a small Red Eyes package, triple Black Metal Dragon, and 1 Darkness Metal Dragon. This is a very interesting combination. There is one additional card that I chose not to play. I believe it's Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon or something along that lines. Because we are able to actually, in our combo, trigger our Black Metal Dragon twice if we do open it with it. However, it is not necessarily worth putting in the additional, swapping out an additional card in this deck to play that card, because it isn't necessarily that great. It just lets us get an extra extendy. And then we are on the 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Signature in Dragonlink, just being able to bring back stuff from graveyard is very strong. We're on double Noctivision Dragon. We are always planning on playing some sort of Dragonlink adjacent strategy in this deck, even if we do brick. So Noctivision is always great as a draw and an extender. We're on 1 Collapse, for our Chaos cards, we're on 1 Collapse Serpent, 1 Wyver Burster, double Starliege Seyfert, allowing us to send dragons from our hand or face of field of the graveyard to add dragons whose levels equal the total levels of the monsters that we sent to graveyard, and allowing us to banish it from the graveyard to target a level 8 light or dark dragon and then add it back to hand. So both effects are very great, allowing us to swap 1 card in hand for another one, or even potentially more than 1 card, or even off board, because you can send itself in order to grab Collapse Serpent. So that's a really cute play you're able to make. And then the graveyard effect is also very strong, allowing us to add back cards like Dark End Evaporation Dragon and the Bystial Lubellion if we choose to send it to the graveyard and our opponent is a little bit antsy about us, specialing onto the board. So we can add it back to hand to add a Bystial and increase the overall power of our plays if we haven't already used the in-hand effect. Run 1 Omni Dragon Brotar. If a monster we control is destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. But banish it and leaves the field. If this card is special summoned, we can target 1 face-up monster on the field, discard 1 card, and if you do, add 1 monster from your deck to your hand with the same type and attribute as that target, but a different name. We can use each effective Brotar once per turn. We are planning on special summoning this off of 1-for-1, although there are also additional ways we could potentially get this on board, like with seals. This is mainly here just as like an extra little target for different things, as well as that effect in order to pitch cards and add cards is really great. It's like a different version of Starliege Seyfert. And we are on triple Melody of Awakening Dragon. I just want to mention this before the next 2 cards. And then the targets for it, Chaos Emperor, the Dragon of Armageddon, and Chaos Dragon Levianeer, who have stat lines that allow us to add it off of Melody. Basically making Melody a 1-for-1 in that case, or rather a 2-for-2. Chaos Emperor is mostly an extender, and then Chaos Dragon Levianeer is an extender that can either hand rip or extend even further, or pop your opponent's field. Run 1 copy of Dragon Ravine because we can search it throughout our combo with Romulus. 1 copy of Chaos Space in order to find our white or black dragon, or find our Bystial Lubellion, which is very, very Gucci gang. 1-for-1 in order to find any of our various level 1 monsters, Black Metal Dragon, Brotar, even Thunder Dragon Matrix in certain scenarios. All of these cards will benefit us in some sort of way. 1 copy of Gold Sarcophagus, just because if we go Gold Sarc, Banish Thunder Dragon Roar, that is a free Colossus. And then 1 copy of Foolish Burial in order to send cards like Absorouter Dragon, or even our Thunder Dragon cards if we have a Bystial or a white or black Dragon Collapse Serpent in hand. In our extra, we're on the Blowjob Brothers, SP Little Knight, and IP Masquerena. We're on one copy of Striker Dragon, which adds Boot Sector Launch on summon and can add rockets from graveyard to hand by tributing itself or other monsters. One copy of Pisty. While it's on board, we can only summon dragons, but if this zone it points to and a different Link monster end up pointing to the same zone, we can activate the effect to special summon a dragon from banishment or in graveyard to the zone they both point to. So just a really great card for recurring our used dragons, although it does require a little bit of setup and a little bit of knowledge on what you're going to be doing with the Pisty afterwards, because we do not really want to be locked into just dragons. One Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. This is, the best board Dragonlink can ever produce. But all jokes aside, this is a card that if you are planning on making it, you do always want to make it before you activate Rocket Tracer's effect, because Rocket Tracer locks us into dark extra deck monsters for us of the turn, and we cannot make spheres because it is a light. Again, like I just mentioned with spheres, that goes the same with Romulus, where Romulus is a wind. And on summon, we get to add a spell trap or a Dragon Ravine from deck to hand. And we're going to be adding that Dragon Ravine. Dragon Ravine allowing us to pitch a card in order to activate one of two effects. Either adding a level 4 lower Dragunity from deck to hand, never happening, or Foolish Burying any dragon from deck, and which is going to happen. We're on one copy of Triple Burst Dragon, the second effect everyone forgets about. However, the only reason we are playing it is because it is a Dragonlink 3 with the arrows that point down in order for Pisty to work. And then lastly, we're on one Boral End Dragon. We want to be ending on this all of the time. It is a big bungus that is a negate, and it keeps on recurring monsters. And even if we make it early in our turn, we can use it to recur a monster by targeting a monster we control that we don't care about the effects, just to bring back a rocket monster. We're on something a little bit cute with this deck. This is an idea I had when I was looking into building this deck. Dark End Evaporation Dragon does need to banish a level 8 dragon from our extra deck in order to special summon itself. Now that means we do need to play level 8 dragons, only one of which we were playing previous was Borreload Furious Dragon. However, we do need synchros now that Borreload Savage Dragon is banned. So I decided to play Scarred Dragon Archfiend. It needs a tuner and a non-tuner dark monster. We can make it with Tracer and with Recharger. And what Scarred Dragon Archfiend does is it comes Red Dragon Archfiend and Field to Graveyard. If it's sent from Monster Zone to Graveyard, we can special summon a Red Dragon Archfiend from our extra deck, and it's treated as a Synchro summon. And then if this guy is sent to the material as for a Dark Dragon Synchro, we can destroy all attack position monsters our opponent controls. There is one case where we can do that with Dispater, and we could theoretically use a Delta or a Gamma for that. However, it is very unlikely that that will ever be the case. However, what this means is we can just link this off in order to just get an extra level 8 body on board. And we have a lot of level 8s in this deck. We have Dark End Evaporation, Bystial Lupellion. We have our Chaos Dragon Levianeer, our Chaos Emperor. We do have quite a few 8s, including our Scarred Red and our Hot Red. So I did opt to play, we need to play a Dark Rank 8 that kind of does something. And so, of course, me and my Orcust brain, I did choose to opt to play Dingirsu Orcust of the Evening Star. My theory with this choice is that this allows the deck to end on 2 forms of protection for your board. Because Dingirsu, with a card on your field to be destroyed by battle or card effect, we can detach a material from it instead, and that isn't a once per turn. So we can really take advantage of both of Dingirsu's protections in case our opponent, while our opponent is trying to break our board, especially if we have something like an IP Masquerena up. We're on one, the Bystial Dispater, either banishing card our opponent controls or negating its effects, depending on where we return the banished card into, whose deck we put it into. One copy of Colossus. This card is a walking mistake, literally and figuratively. If this card's on field, your opponent can't add cards from deck to hand, except for drawing them. And if this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, we can banish the Thunder monster from our graveyard instead. So this will trigger all of our Thunder Dragons if we do have some in the graveyard, while protecting itself. And it prevents your opponent from finding answers in order to remove this card from the board. So it's just a really, really powerful card in and of itself. And also, it is a level 8, so we could, in theory, make Dingirsu with it. And since we are opting to play the Thunder Dragon Fusion, we can recycle Colossus if need be. Well, we also could theoretically recycle it if we sent it to graveyard, banished it, and then returned it to deck with Chaos Space, although that's probably not happening. And then lastly, we're on one Borreload Furious Dragon. We can quick effect pop a card we control and a card our opponent controls, and yeah. And then we can banish from the graveyard, target one Dragonlink monster in our graveyard, and special it, but you can't activate its effects this turn. And each effect of Furious is once per turn. That Reborn effect, really great. If that pop effect, also really great because it is destruction of any card, which is incredibly useful, especially while field spells for certain decks are so useful. And then lastly, we're on one Thunder Dragon Titan. It needs 3 Thunder Dragon monsters, must be fusion summon or special summon, banishing a Thunder monster from our hand and 1 Thunder fusion we control. So we could theoretically special summon Titan by banishing our own Colossus, which would then turn on that subsequent Chaos Space that I mentioned previously. When a Thunder Dragon monster's effect is activated in the hand, quick effect, we can destroy 1 card on field, and if this card is destroyed by card effect, we can banish 2 cards from our graveyard instead. Now, unlike Colossus, this card does not protect itself from battle. However, this card does do something when we use the effects of Thunder Dragon Dark and Thunder Dragon Matrix during our opponent's turn, functionally turning these cards into popping a card on field. It also will turn Thunder Dragon into that during our own turn, as well as any of our hand effects of any of our Thunder Dragon monsters. So that's going to be about it for the profile. Now, let us hop into a game or two. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you wanted to talk to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Players like yourself, I would highly recommend checking out our Discord server. Link is going to be in the description, as well as the QR code on screen. We do talk somewhat frequently about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the current meta, so I would really enjoy to see you there. As well as we do recently now have channel memberships available on our YouTube channel, where we have 3 different tiers. We have Super Supporter at $2 a month, where you get loyalty badges, emojis, guaranteed comment responses, a shout out at the end of every video, as well as access to the members only Discord channel, where you get early sneak peeks at future videos. There is the Giga Supporter at $5 a month, where you have early access to all new videos about a day or 2 before they go up, as well as all the previous offers. And for $15 a month, we do have our final tier, which is going to be Femboy Fanatic. You get a guaranteed customized video every single month, as well as 1 hour of my time. Could be for anything you'd like. You want a duel? Absolutely. You want me to help build a deck? Absolutely. You want to play some Helldivers? Sure. I'll do anything for an hour once a month. But supporting does help me out quite a lot, and it does help me produce all of these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be seeing y'all later. Bye-bye.